everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tori if you're new here, and today I'm in my classroom again because I got some peace and quiet. I'm starting a little intro here. We are doing a $12 meal challenge. I have 30 plus meal ideas for you. They are actually serving sizes, so before anyone comes on here and says that there's not a variety, I promise you there is. This is based on the Starch solution. I have been doing that as a plant-based individual, but I feel like this can be made for everyone. If you want to add meat and dairy to this, you can. I will tell you some inexpensive ideas to do so. I'm going to try also to type out all of the recipes in the description box. I'm going to type out the grocery list and how much everything was as well, just so you can compare and shop in your area. If you are new here, we would love it if you stuck around, hit that subscribe button. We make videos 3 to 4 times a week on life on a budget. Here in Northern Colorado, we try and do life pretty healthy. I am super passionate about doing it on a budget. I believe it's attainable for everyone, so we would love it if you stuck around and hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Without further ado, we're gonna get right into it. I shop Target this time for the challenge. I know there's cheaper places out there, but I always like to challenge myself to see what I can get. They were out of 2 items, so I did have to pop on over to Walmart to grab those items, but I think we did good. I have an onion here and an apple. I have 1 box of angel hair pasta. I'm gonna try and put all of the prices here next to the item. I also have some extra firm tofu. I have some corn tortillas, some cuts of broccoli. I do have an entire bag of russet potatoes, 5 pounds there. I have some canned items. The mixed chili beans were from Walmart, as well as the tomato sauce with jalapeno. I have some regular tomato sauce and refried beans. And then I also have some sliced carrots and some chickpeas. So this is everything. Like I said, you could throw in a block of cream cheese or maybe 8 ounces of regular cheese, maybe some cans of tuna or chicken, and go from there. So I have like a loosely based meal plan right here. I have all of my prices just out on the page just so I could visualize it. But it is going to be around $13 with tax for everything. So I have quite a few things, starting with some taquitos and then moving on to some potatoes with broccoli, spinach, and cheese sauce. We're actually going to change that up. I also have some fish and chips, but we're using tofu, so that would be an area where you could use tuna. I have pasta and sauce. It's a classic, and I never include it on here. I also have some chili beans and some chickpea salad. So that is the plan, and we are starting with the first meal. It's going to be those taquitos. So I am going to use some tofu, extra firm tofu. I've gotten questions before if I use it, what kind I use, and what do I use it for? A bunch of stuff. So here's one of them. I have onions as well as refried beans, mixed chili beans, and then I do have that tomato sauce with jalapeno. These are 44 cents at Walmart, and they have a lot of flavor. You could certainly use regular tomato sauce and add spices. It just depends on what you want to do. I also have some corn tortillas, and essentially you are going to chop up the onion. I am just using 1/4 of this onion, and then I'm going to take my tofu and press it. So tofu generally comes in water, if you did not know, and I don't eat a lot of tofu, but I do eat it from time to time. So if you know, you know. It is impossible to get these wrappers off the top, but I am just using 1/2 a block of this tofu. When I say I press the tofu, I take it out and I don't squeeze out the water, but I wrap it in a towel and then put a book or something on top of it just to get some extra water out. Like I said, I'm just using 1/2 of this, so I am going to grate the rest with a cheese grater, and this is like mimicking a meat. You could dice this if you want. You could totally omit this, but it adds some extra protein for us plant-based eaters, and I know on the Starch solution, tofu is a toss-up, but it's okay once in a while in moderation, just like everything else in life. So I have everything going into a pot here, the onions, the tofu, the entire can of the tomato sauce, and then 1/2 of the can of the chili beans. I'm going to mix that together, get it nice and hot, and let the tofu kind of crisp up. And then I'm going to roll some of the filling and the refried beans into some corn tortillas. And I'm actually baking this at 400 for around 20 to 25 minutes. You could dip this in something if you would like, but it is super flavorful. I can eat about 4 of these when I am eating them during a meal, but super easy. You don't need oil. They crisp up just fine. Next up on the list is going to be some broccoli, air quote, cheddar soup. So I have some broccoli cuts here. I have 1 potato. I have some diced onions, some sliced carrots, as well as some mixed chili beans. I'm actually serving this on top of more baked potatoes, and the chili beans just add a nice little extra element of protein. So that is why that is included in there. I'm sauteing the onion and the potato together, and then I'm going to add the carrots and broccoli along with around 15 to 20 ounces of water. You could add some better than bouillon in here. You could even add cheese if you're not doing the starch solution, but I promise you it's super flavorful. I'm simmering everything together until the potatoes are soft, and then I'm going to blend half of the soup and stir it back in here, and that will be a nice top off for some of the baked potatoes we have. You could use it as a dipping sauce, or you could take half of it and freeze it like I am doing. The soup is so flavorful. I make it all the time, and I don't miss the cheese or anything else that would go in your typical broccoli cheddar. But I'm going to freeze this, and then I'm going to freeze half of the taquitos as well. These are just nice to have. Pop them in the microwave and bring them along with you, or you can just take the entire thing out and serve it with some enchilada sauce. Either way is super delicious. Next up on our list is going to be the air quote fish and chips. I have to air quote things. It makes people mad when I call them by the name that I'm mimicking. So we have some potatoes soaking about half of the bag. I put them into wedge form, and they are soaking in salted water. And then I took the other half of the tofu, and I'm just pressing some extra water out, and this is our fish fillet. You could make it into like a fishy shape. I don't know, like the kind that you see in a bag that is frozen, but we are going to coat these and then put a little breading on it with some corn tortillas, which I've done in the past. I have my pan here, and my goal is just to get these potatoes crisped up, and we will have these throughout the week. So I'm actually trying to put them onto 2 different batches. You don't want to crowd the pan, but I do have some salt and pepper on there, and I'd say about a teaspoon of oil. It's not necessary, but High Carb Hannah has said it in the past, and it really resonated with me that pinch of oil makes the biggest difference. And for me, it hasn't made like a deep impact when it comes to the weight loss portion of the starch solution. So it's really up to you. I have some whole wheat flour in here. You could certainly use almond flour if you wanted. I like that as well. We were just out. And then I have some water, and then I did sprinkle some dill seasoning in there. So it's just literally dill, onion powder, black pepper, and garlic powder. It is that time of the night. If you know, you know, the train is coming by, which reminds me it's a bit late, but I wanted to get this video to you. So I'm taking those corn tortillas, I'm taking about 4 of those and just putting it in a food processor with some parsley, dill, black pepper, and salt. And to be honest with you, I would add more salt to this. Tofu can be pretty bland, not going to lie to you, but it soaks up any flavor you give it. So I would definitely give it some Old Bay or maybe some extra salt. I'm just dredging it, I believe is the term. I don't know. I'm going to put it in this mixture and then put it in this mixture. I am baking it alongside the fries at 400 for around 20 to 25 minutes. It depends how crispy you like things. I'm going to take the tofu off and then bake it for an additional 10 minutes. And while that's baking, we are making another meal. I like to meal prep when it comes to these challenges. It's just easier for me as a busy mom of 2. I know there are plenty of you out there that have more than me, but 2 is what I can handle right now when it comes to YouTube, full-time job, and full-time momming. So here we are doing a meal prep. We are doing a classic. I've done this in the past. I love this meal. It is filling, it is versatile, and it's really tasty. So I have some chickpeas in there. I have that apple, some diced onion, and what I'm going to do is actually mix this with a vegan mayo. I'm going to link in the description box the vegan mayo that I like to make that has no oil, but this one does. Again, I can eat oil and lose weight on the starch solution. It really depends on your body and your journey. But for this one, I just wanted to give it some vegan mayo as part of that $12. So what I did was take the aquafaba, the chickpea liquid, about a half cup of that, and mixed it with some avocado oil. You could use the Gundry MD olive oil. Again, affiliate link in my description. But I did mix that with some mustard, salt, pepper, a little bit of garlic, and apple cider vinegar. I did a splash of lemon juice and some pepper and went from there. The recipe calls for cane sugar. You can put that in there if you want. If you want a more natural solution, use agave or maple syrup, but I'm not really a sweet mayo person, so I'm going to put some of this into my chickpeas and I'm going to mash everything together. I'm just going to add a little bit more salt and pepper, and this will be amazing for lunches this week. I serve it over a bed of arugula. Sometimes I serve it in sandwiches. Sometimes I serve it as is. I love it as a dip with celery, but there are so many different ways you could use that. I did only end up getting some actual photographs of my fish and chips, but they are so yummy and we had a lot left over. Going back to that sauce that you did just see, I only added some extra salt and some dill pickles and made like a tartar sauce. So this was my version of fish and chips. I will say this week time was a struggle. So here are some photos of the others. I ended up doing chili beans just as is with a little bit of water and some vegetables, extra potatoes in there, and that makes a really filling meal. You could add some rice in there for $1.19 for 2 pounds at my Walmart. And then I also had that spaghetti. You could use the angel hair pasta. I dropped it and it went all over the floor, of course. I feel like that's my move, my classic move, dropping pasta. But I just added some spinach in there as well as some veggies and the tomato sauce. And then here is like a take on one of my Pennsylvania recipes. So I have all of the tomato sauce in there, some potatoes, and then the chili beans grinded up. And it's just like this really filling, amazing dish. Don't you go worrying, all of the recipes will be typed out in the description box. Alrighty everyone, that is going to do it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed all of these meal ideas and I hope it encourages you to shop on the cheap in your area. If you are new here, we would love it if you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. As always, stay adventurous, stay creative. I'll see you next time. Bye y'all.